The family that disowned me. My name doesn't matter. What matters is that 3 years ago, I married into a family that made it very clear from day one that I wasn't good enough. My husband, Daniel, came from money. Not obscene wealth, but comfortable. A family construction business his father built from nothing, worth several $1 million. I came from nothing. Single mom, 2 jobs, first in my family to finish college. His mother, Linda, never said it outright. She didn't have to. It was in the way she introduced me. This is Daniel's girlfriend, never by name. It was in the seating chart at family dinners, where I somehow always ended up at the far end of the table. Daniel saw it. He apologized constantly, but he never stopped it. We'd been married 8 months. I was 3 months pregnant, something we hadn't announced yet, saving it for Christmas dinner as a surprise. Linda had other plans. Over dessert, in front of 12 family members, she stood up with her wine glass and said she had an announcement. I thought maybe this was her olive branch. Instead, she looked directly at me and said, I think it's time we're honest. This family has standards, and some people marrying into it simply don't meet them. Daniel, you can still fix this? The table went silent. My father-in-law didn't defend me. Daniel's siblings looked at their plates. And Daniel, my husband, said nothing for 11 seconds. I counted every one of them. I stood up, told them I was pregnant, said I hoped they'd remember this moment for the rest of their lives, and I left. 2 weeks later, we got a letter stating Daniel had been removed from the family trust, and if he chose to continue this marriage, he would receive nothing. Daniel tore it up in front of me. I choose you. I choose our baby. I don't need their money. We moved 3 states away. He took a job with no family name attached, no safety net. Some months we couldn't afford both rent and groceries at the same time. But we had each other and our daughter, born that following June. For 2 years, his family didn't call. Not once. Not for the birth. Not for her first birthday. Nothing. Then, 3 weeks ago, Daniel built something. A software tool for construction project management, something he'd been coding on nights and weekends to solve a problem at his own job. He put it online as a side project. Within 4 months, a construction firm in Texas offered to buy the license outright for $2 million. We said yes before they could change their minds. 11 days after the deal closed, there was a knock at our door. It was Linda and Daniel's father, standing on our porch holding a fruit basket like it was 1955. Linda smiled the way she used to smile at other people, never at me. She said she'd heard wonderful news and wanted to reconnect as a family. She talked about how much she'd missed us, how she always knew Daniel would succeed, how she hoped we could be one family again, especially now, with a granddaughter she'd love to finally meet. I let her finish. Then I asked one question. Where were you when we couldn't afford groceries? Silence. Where were you when Daniel worked 60-hour weeks just so our daughter could have a crib? Where were you for her first steps? Where were you for any of it before there was money involved? Linda's face went red. My father-in-law just stared at the floor, same as that Christmas 2 years ago. Then Daniel spoke. Calm. Steady. You made your choice at that dinner table. You said, this family has standards. Well, we have standards too now. And showing up only when there's money isn't one of them. He walked to the door and opened it. Linda didn't move at first. Then she said the thing that told me everything I needed to know. Daniel, think about your daughter's future. She deserves a real inheritance. I stood up and said the only thing left to say. She has a real family. It's the two of us, who never once left. They left without another word. We haven't heard from them since. We used part of that money to buy our first home. Small, but ours. People ask if I regret how that porch conversation went. I don't. Because that Christmas dinner taught me something Linda never learned. Family isn't about the name on the trust. It's about who shows up when there's nothing to gain. They showed up for the money. We built a life without it. And that's the difference between them and us.